Today in the show, I'm going to be answering the question, where is Hollywood going wrong with anime? So Hollywood doesn't exactly have the best track record when it comes to anime. From Dragon Ball Evolution to Fist of the North Star to Ghost in the Shell, none of them really get good reviews, or are good. In fact, the only anime I could find that has a rating over 50% on Rotten Tomatoes is the second Guyver movie. You can even expand this to live-action anime made in America as a whole. There was an indie film a few years ago. It was a fan adaptation of Sailor Moon, and I helped fund it on Kickstarter, but it was real bad. It was real bad. I feel that where Hollywood is going wrong with anime is they don't really understand anime as a medium. I think they look at it and they go, oh, that's just Japanese animation and comic books. We can just make it like we make comic book movies. But there is a fundamental difference between anime and manga and Western comics, or at least superhero comics. These anime movies are getting the comic book movie treatment, where these characters are plucked from their world and a new, similar, but not the exact same world is made around the characters. The characters are altered greatly as well. Even the stories are completely different, and you know what? This works for comic book movies, but it doesn't work for anime and manga. It works for Marvel and DC characters specifically because those characters are made to last. These characters have been around since the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, and so on. These characters are in an ever-expanding fictional universe, so they need to be able to adapt to almost any story you can imagine. Whereas anime characters, even characters in Naruto, One Piece, and so on, that have been around for a hot minute now, these character stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and that's it. And because of that, the characters are inherently tied to the world they're in. You can't change either one, because if you change one, you lose the other. And as a result, you lose the depth of the character. And Hollywood doesn't understand that. It's just a beautiful synergy that you can't break, and I don't understand why they feel the need to break it. If you are going to adapt an anime into live action, you actually just kind of have to give it the Harry Potter treatment. The Harry Potter movies were made very, very similar to the novels. In fact, there are only slight changes here and there just for time constraints. I'm sure if they had more time in each movie, it would have been almost 100% identical to the novels. But what was important was that the core plot and the core of who the characters were the exact same because they were tied to one another. That synergy was maintained and was seen as important. And it's just as important, if not more important, in anime. But there's something even more amazing about anime that I think these executives will just never be able to understand, honestly. What people love about anime is not that it's animation from Japan, like they think we do. What people love about anime, just watch one anime, just go to any anime convention, you'll see this, is that it causes people to be more emotionally invested than any other medium out there. Anime is one of the most varied mediums out there, yet every single show has one thing in common. The emotions the characters feel in anime is so real. It's amazing. And the most amazing thing about these characters is that the emotions that they feel are strongest when things are just allowed to happen, when subtle things hit them. You don't need a big battle. Things don't need to be dramatic all the time. Things are just allowed to happen. That being said, if there are big battles, they're done in such a way where no matter what happens, big battles or not, anime can just speak to you on such a deep emotional level. It's so hard to put into words. But even then, anime can speak to the person you aspire to be, or it can speak to your childhood self. It's something quite amazing that I have yet to see another medium do. And this rule applies across the board, from relaxing shows like Aria to Dragon Ball Z to even something completely artsy and out there like Angel's Egg. It's not the fact that it's animation from Japan that people love about anime, it's that direct connection to the very essence of your being that people love. Just think about how many people feel interpersonal relationships with these characters. How many people genuinely felt for Haruhi and Tamaki when she jumped out of that carriage to go and catch him. How many people genuinely loved growing up alongside Naruto. I kind of dropped off of Naruto at one point, but I watched his wedding episode because I was like, oh my god, a childhood friend is getting married. That's almost how it felt. People keep going back to anime because that strong emotional connection to those characters there's nothing out there like it. And even me, a person that was bullied by other students when I was in school and teachers for liking anime, I kept holding on. And when you finally meet people that you kind of belong with, that understand this obsession, there's nothing better. But bringing this back around to our main topic, that deep interpersonal connection with the characters, be it in a movie or a series, is something I've yet to see Hollywood do in anything. I've seen a lot of movies. I go to film festivals. I love the cinema, don't get me wrong. But that deep interpersonal connection is something that only anime has been able to do. I've seen movies that have made me feel emotions, don't get me wrong. I've laughed in the cinema, I've cried, but this is such a deep connection. We're talking about something that really speaks to the very fiber of your being, something that can summon something from within you that you didn't even know was there. And it's so hard to put this emotion into words. And until these Hollywood studios are able to really understand this nuance of emotion, really able to understand this thing that pulls emotions up from within you, I don't think that we will ever see a good live-action anime movie done by Hollywood. Regardless of how it's adapted, what they do to the characters, even if it's exactly the same as the original, unless they can recapture that emotional nuance, it will fall flat. There's actually a video by Gigi UK, I think his name is, I'll link it down below, that actually talks more on the emotional nuances and that connection side of anime. It really did help inspire this video, so please do go and check it out. It's super effective! Okay guys, that is it for today. So what was the first anime you watched that really made you feel something? Please let me know in the comments down below, and also don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, do all of the social links, and I will see you next time.